If you've been following automotive news recently, or you're in the market for a dual cab ute yourself, you probably already know that this Ford Ranger recently got a 5-star ANCAP safety rating for 2022 against very strict requirements. What you might not know though is that Drive was invited to the crash lab in Western Sydney as an observer for one of the tests that this Ranger undergoes, and we saw a ute that looked very similar to this, at least at the start, crash into something doing the frontal offset test, and at the end of it, it wasn't looking very pretty at all. But it was very interesting to see how these crashes work and see what goes on. We even got to keep this cool memento. This is the badge of the Ranger that was crashed. You can see it's almost the same as this one here. It's still got the tape on it, but if you look at the footage, you'll see it actually flying through the air quite spectacularly. And bonus points, if you look at that footage very closely, you might even see someone who looks like me right off in the distance watching safely as this thing does its frontal offset crash test. Let me know in the comments below, can you spot where I am for that test? But we're going to hold on to this because it's a pretty cool memento of watching a Ranger get fairly bent up. You don't like to see crashes happen in the real world, but in this sort of situation, it was very exciting and cool to see just how ANCAP goes about their work. So let's go have a look and see how this Ranger actually did with some more detail and how ANCAP goes about their business of crash testing Australian cars. I'm here at the Crash Lab in Western Sydney, and this is where ANCAP, Australia's local crash testing authority, does all of the work, or at least most of it, in assessing how safe new cars are in a crash. Let's go inside and have a look. The test that we were invited to see was the frontal offset test, which mimics a head-on crash in the real world. The test car plows into a 1,400 kilo trolley, and both of these are travelling at 50 kilometers per hour. The vehicle has adult and child test dummies fitted, and the trolley has a crushable aluminium face which simulates a vehicle, and it further allows assessors to see how force is distributed in a crash. Other tests include a far side impact test which simulates a T-bone, a pole test which is similar to crashing into a tree or a pole on the side. There's a whiplash test on the seats, and also pedestrian protection tests on the front bumper and bonnet. There's also a full width head-on test into a wall and a side impact test where that same 1,400 kilo trolley you saw earlier goes into the side of a test vehicle. On average, one car is crash tested every week at the Crash Lab in Sydney, and ANCAP needs to destroy at least 5 vehicles in order for a complete assessment. Along with a wide variety of active safety technology testing, ANCAP's regime is thorough and wide-ranging, and it works in conjunction with a broader global network of new car assessment programs. Well, there you have it. There was a lot of noise there, but after all the preparation, it was all done very, very quickly. And it looks pretty impressive to look at the wreck here, but we don't know that much about the end result until all the smart people here actually sit down and look at all of the data. Those crash test dummies in there, they are very expensive and they carry a lot of the important data in terms of how safe this Ranger is going to be. And while we didn't know the result at the time of this testing, the Ford Ranger did end up scoring a 5-star rating from this test, along with the closely related Ford Everest four-wheel drive wagon. The Ranger scored 84% for adult occupant safety, while child occupants scored 93%. That's quite a high number. Protection for pedestrians, also known as vulnerable road users, scored 74%, while the safety assistance technology on the Ranger scored 86%. As always, drop a comment down below to let us know what you think about this video, and give us a thumbs up while you're there. And for the full coverage of this Ford Ranger four-wheel drive ute, including news, reviews and comparisons, head over to Drive.com.au.